How's it going, YouTube? We're back with another RLCS roster news video for you guys. We got a bunch of rumors that are going down primarily in Europe and some big ones with that. Obviously, we're 1 week into the trade window officially, second week, and then we're done. So we are going to be seeing a lot of news over the next few days, just simply because they have to be wrapped up by the end of the day, 14th local time. With that in mind, there's going to be some more adjustments, but it seems like a lot of it is going to be EU focused, a lot of consolidations and things like that. So we're going to start, though, with the Eastern regions, start with APAC and everything else. We're going to clear up some of the rumors potentially and some updates in that regard, and then go from there. First one's first, another import potentially going to APAC, SSA, and the rest, as you guys have seen. But this case is a little bit different. Elevate, as you guys know in our previous video, they released LCT. He tries to find his new roster. But they are going to be bringing in an import from North America in ZPS, better known as Zombie Poop Shark. Yes, that is his real gamer tag and what it stands for. If you guys don't know ZPS, he played for like Boulevard and Dark Zero back when Turbo Pulsar was rebuilt around a while back. But ZPS has kind of been dormant for a little bit. So we've been seeing a lot of people in APAC and SSA in particular taking some, I guess, bubble-ish players that are kind of in the like 16 to 32 range, and then bringing them to other talent, which will help increase the level of competition just because more players is always better. But is it going to be a solution to go and compete? I don't know in particular. I think Elevate didn't look too bad, and getting rid of LCT is kind of a weird one because he was kind of that vocal leader for the team. And without a doubt, we're talking in regards to Kevin and Sphinx being extremely talented. We got to see that showcased at the major, but you still need a veteran or someone who's been there, done that, who has experience to kind of show them the ropes. And getting rid of that captain is kind of weird to me. So interesting choice for Elevate. Curious to see on what their future is going to be, but ZPS potentially going over and joining APAC. Crazy opportunity, if I'm being honest. Up next, we got Raaz Bull, and Raaz Bull doesn't say anything in particular. It's just a retweet. As you guys see down here, football pictures that go hard. If you do not know those three players, that is Alexis Sanchez, Javi Hernandez, and Andres Iniesta. If you guys do not know those players, and I probably butchered that, they play for FC Barcelona. But the thing to pay attention to is where their origins are from. You've got a Chilean and two Spaniards, which, if you look at the Wikipedia for complexity, Raaz Bull is from Chile, and then you got Ciara and Dorito that are both from Spain. So many people are insinuating that the rumors about Diaz coming over, which in a previous video I completely botched. Diaz is actually from Brazil, not Spain, and he won the Fear event. For some reason, I was thinking of Drawley when Drawley disconnected, and that's why I said that he had a relatively good performance. Diaz won the whole thing over Wavy, but it seems like maybe they're trying to quiet the rumors a little bit, and I'm okay with it if Raaz Bull does. If they're like, no, we're sticking with Dorito, that's the plan, I'm all for it. I like seeing teams build and grow rather than constantly changing, but it brings up the conversation and the question of, hey, there's only one trade window this entire season. We have to make a decision, and that is what is going to have to be our decision for the next split, as well as into the World Championship if we make it. So this is the only chance you have to make a change for the better if you think it's going to be for the better, but Catch 22, that's also what you're stuck with. Like, you don't have any outs outside of that. So you got to stick with what you got or commit. So there's going to be some interesting decisions that are made here as we continue to talk about some of these opportunities, especially when we get to the end of this video. So make sure you guys stay tuned into that. Next, we've got YUKOH. If you guys don't know YUKOH, they ended up qualifying at one point for top 16 in one of the events under Oida. That is no longer the case. He is now going to Sokolovi, and I don't know what that means or how to say that. Probably butchered it. But it's with Stealth. Stealth, who's been around for a really, really long time. His last big performance, I think, was when they played. That would have been We Play in like 2021 or something like that, is when Stealth really made an impact performance. And then Scream, who I personally am not too familiar with, but Scream is 21, a little bit older. And he's from Serbia, it looks like. So interesting results there. I don't know. I haven't looked up specifically who these players are. Being candid with you all, I do not expect them to do anything too crazy. I think EU's just got too much talent to where, yes, it'll be cool to compete. Yes, it'll be get top 32 placements. But do I expect this team to make top 16 consistently? Probably not. Probably not. Maybe they'll surprise us and squeak in. I'm going to pay attention either way because I'm a big fan of YUKOH. So we'll see how it goes. Up next, the one that shocked everybody and kind of surprised everybody this past weekend is the conversation around Oxygen. And yes, that is a Photoshop picture of Joyo on one of the players' heads. Joyo looks jacked in this photo. It's not proportionate, but we still love the efforts from Shift. But according to the rumor, Joyo potentially leaving Moist after being there for just about 2 years. He's been with that roster. He's the last remaining one from the original Joyo Vatira and Raaz chant that we all knew and love. Pretty surprising. I know that there's been intentions for Moist to rebuild around Joyo for quite a while, and I don't blame him for being like, you know what, this isn't working. Let me be not the best player on the team and transition into something else. And I agree with you a little bit in chat there, Messi, is that it does feel odd because we do have attachments to players in the organization, especially when it's the first iteration, but it happens. I mean, you look at Dignitas now and you think about Dignitas of the old with the world champs and stuff. It's just, that's the evolution of this sport. It's kind of how it goes. You're talking when there's only 3 players on a roster, it's very tough to keep things solidified. Rocket League's always moving and evolving. So if that ends up being the case, there is rumors right now of EXO being parted with. So it would end up being Oski and Joyo, who a lot of people have been asking to see those two play together, which I'm actually a big fan of. So Oski, Joyo, and Archie. I think that would be a good way for them to solidify themselves towards the top, because right now, if you guys aren't familiar with Oxygen and where they are in the rankings, they are sitting 1 point behind 5th place. So obviously 5 is the closest with Magnifico, just outside of making top 4 and going to majors. Obviously new split means new point qualifications, but Oxygen, I think with Joyo could definitely do some damage. I'm very interested to see how that one plays out. To which then many ask, what's going on with Moist then? What would end up happening? 2/3 of their roster with Oli and Rezi have been seen scrimming in private matches against the Belagol roster with Temper, Speed, and Hyder, and they've been trying out Astral. So Astral, who was on Moist a while back, back when it was Joyo, Astral, and Raaz deciding to take a defensive approach to support his 2 offensive fiends, and they ended up taking 2nd place at a major, losing to Genji in their first debut after they went second, first in what was the fall split of last year, I think. There's a lot of Rocket League to pay attention to with all these roster things, trying to keep them all. So correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But Astral, I do know, took 2nd place with Moist at that. So maybe going back to Moist as a potential. Curious to see how this one goes. Curious to see what Noah is up to, their coach, and if they're going to be building something special or not. I've been hearing some interesting iterations of things going down. So again, the big one to pay attention to. And again, if you guys want to stay up to date on these, there's a link in the description for my roster document, which is here on the left-hand side. But I have the rumors on the right-hand side, confirmations on the left-hand side. As these get updated, we will update these and keep you guys up to date on all of them. And then we also have the results. We just added international rankings as well. So we have separated how they do in qualifiers in just their region. And then we also have how they competed in international, which is more so you can see how they stack up against their own regions for results. This will matter more when we get into the World Championship and Major 2. So we do that for NNEU, eventual updates, Sam OC, and all those other ones. But yeah, pretty crazy stuff. Keeping you guys all up to date. If you guys have any questions, as always, let me know in the comments down below. And while you're down there, if you like the content, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and turn notifications. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.